Mr. Carver for 3 minutes.
Mr. President, Iraq bears the hallmarks and scars of the misguided intervention of Western nations. This has been nothing short of scandalous. With scant consideration for the obvious failings of Pico Sykes nearly 100 years ago, we poked this hornet's nest with a very sharp stick before embarking on regime change. Most would agree that Saddam's treatment of the Iraqi people, not least the Marsh Arabs and the Kurds, underlined his warped approach to humanity. However, I believe that the Second Gulf War was fought on the premise of preparing for victory and not, as has now been proved, life after that victory. Yes, the senior Ba'athist element of Iraq had to be removed, but what followed was the greatest foreign policy failing of modern times, that being the US-led decision to dismantle the Iraqi army after the fall of Saddam. At a stroke of a pen, this Sunni-led army, with vast combat experience and access to an immense arsenal, was sidelined. In a short space of time, this led to the birth of the militias and a bloody insurgency. Those militias have now become ISIS or their allies. The Iraqi Prime Minister, whose role is to unify Iraq, has achieved exactly the opposite. Al-Maliki has shown himself to be completely unfit for purpose, underlining the terrible lack of character judgment of Western leaders. As Iraq stands on the brink of splitting into three, Al-Maliki still clearly ignores the Sunnis and the Kurds, so the world holds its breath and prays. The British Independent newspaper reports that around 1,500 British Muslims have fought alongside ISIS. EU open borders mean terrorists can move into Europe and make their way to any part of the continent to potentially wage terrorist campaigns. Late last year, the UK Borders Agency complained that EU rules banned them from collecting data on travellers within the European Union. Data intelligence services which could have been used to spot security risks. ISIS have looted $400 million from banks and financial institutions in northern Iraq, making them the world's richest terrorist group. This conflict could destabilise the whole region and by extension the world. The threat of ISIS must be a stark warning to us all. When decisions are to be made, they must be done with as much input as possible from across the Middle East via the United Nations and by the authority of the United Nations alone. Britain mistakenly went to war in Iraq too because of Tony Blair's dodgy dossier, and the world has become a far more dangerous place as a result. 179 brave British service personnel made the ultimate sacrifice, and many more have suffered both physical and mental scars that they will have to carry for the rest of their lives. I pay tribute to them now. Neither I nor my party want to see another single drop of British blood spilt in either Iraq or Syria. Thank you.
Grazie.